In the world of The Witcher, there are monsters born after the conjunction of the spheres. They are ancient beings from forgotten worlds. They are creatures that feed on humans out of hunger. But Striga is different. Because Striga was once a human, and that is exactly what makes it one of the most horrifying creatures on the continent. It did not come from another dimension. It did not emerge from ancient ruins. It did not hide in swamps for centuries. Humans created the Striga. A curse, greed, incest, politics, all of this fused in a single monster. And today we will explore what Strigas are, how they are created, why they are so feared, what the most famous Striga in the Witcher world looked like, and why the story of the Striga is one of the most important stories in the entire series. A Striga is a human transformed into a monster by a curse. Most often the cause is powerful curses, magical rituals, family sins, or crimes against nature. Physically, Striga barely resembles a human anymore. In the books and games, it's described as massive, covered in claws, with long fangs, pale skin, animalistic movements. But the most terrifying part is not its appearance, but the idea itself, because somewhere inside the monster, a human may still remain. That is why Witchers treat Strigas differently from many other monsters. Sometimes a Striga does not have to be killed. Sometimes the curse can be lifted, but doing so is incredibly dangerous. Like many creatures in the Witcher universe, the Striga comes from Slavic folklore. In mythology, a Striga was described as a cursed human, a being connected to night attacks, sometimes a creature similar to a vampire. People believed such creatures devoured humans, came out at night, and were tied to curses and deaths. Sapkowski took this idea and turned it into one of the most tragic stories in this series. And this is where The Witcher differs from most traditional fantasies. Because the monster is not simply evil. In this world, monsters are often the result of human actions. The most famous Striga in the Witcher universe is Princess Adda. The story begins in Temeria. King Foltest entered a relationship with his own sister, Adda. After her death, a child was born, but the child was cursed. And this is how the Striga came into existence. This is one of the most iconic stories in the entire series because it is the first time we truly see what a Witcher's work looks like. In The Last Wish, Geralt arrives in Vizima. The city is being terrorized by a monster. Every night, the Striga emerges from its crypt and kills people. And it kills with terrifying brutality, tearing bodies apart, devouring organs, leaving mutilated remains behind. And people fear not only the creature itself, they fear who it used to be because it's the king's daughter. The Striga is one of the most physically terrifying creatures in The Witcher. It moves like a beast, in all fours, in sudden burst, with inhuman speed. Its claws can tear flesh apart, break bones, rip open a rib cage. Many descriptions emphasize its monstrous strength. A Striga can literally tear a human apart. But there is another detail. The Striga does not look fully animal. Human features still remain in its appearance, and that is what creates the true horror. You are not looking at just a monster. You are looking at the human transformed into something deeply wrong. A Striga is not a mindless beast. It possesses instincts, aggression, but it does not act randomly. During the day, it hides, usually in crypts, ruins, underground chambers. At night, it hunts. A Striga is extremely territorial. It views everything around it as its domain. And that is why attempts to approach its lair almost always end in death. And there is another important detail. A Striga doesn't kill only out of hunger. In many depictions, it feels as though the curse itself drives it toward violence, as if rage is constantly boiling inside the creature. There are monsters stronger than Striga, but a Striga combines several terrifying traits at once. Speed. It moves incredibly fast. Strength. A single strike can kill a human. Endurance. Stopping a Striga is extremely difficult. Rage. It attacks with almost no fear. But the most dangerous thing is its origin, because the Witcher must make a choice: kill the monster or try to save the human still trapped inside. And that is no longer just a hunt, it becomes a moral choice. To lift the curse from the Striga, a Witcher must survive the night, keep the creature away from its sarcophagus, and prevent it from returning there before dawn. The Striga perfectly represents the core of the Witcher world. Here monsters are rarely just evil. They often are victims, consequences, results of human mistakes. That is why the story of Striga is so memorable, because behind the claws and fangs there is still a human being. And that is always more terrifying than just an ordinary monster. The world of The Witcher has ancient vampires, demons, creatures from other worlds, but very few monsters inspire the same kind of fear as the Striga, because the Striga remind us of one thing: the most terrifying monsters are not born from darkness, they are born from human sins.